if something's wrong with my electrical system, I'm gonna be able to figure it out, whether it's a bad crimp or a loose connection or, you know, things I didn't even know what those meant when I started this. I think sitting there on the roof, just reflecting on, I'm not a teacher anymore. I wanted a different kind of life than what I had, and now I have it. My name is Erica, and I live in my 2021 Ram ProMaster 136 wheelbase with my dogs. This is Penny and Charlie. This is my kitchen. I wanted some plants in here just to make it feel more natural. And I usually keep my produce up here, and when that gets low, it starts to collect junk. So there's no telling what will end up in there when there's no produce in there. But I also went with butcher block for my countertop, which I really like, but this side doesn't look as good because this dog likes to get on the bed by jumping on this countertop. So it's already like really dented and really scratched, but I guess it just adds character, so it's fine. So these two cabinets hold my food and some more stuff for cooking. I can fit a lot of food in there that would probably last me 3 weeks. And then this one is more like cups, bowls. This is like my major Tetris area. And then I also have a mirror that I can use when I get ready that just folds down. It is on Velcro if I ever want to take it down, but I never have. And it lights up. All of my upper cabinets and these 3 drawers, I have the magnets. I've not had, well, actually this one has flown open one time when I was getting on the interstate, and I had a bottle of olive oil come out and spill all over the van. If I could go back, I would try something else. It just wouldn't be my favorite. Some of my other drawers in here, I just have like the eye hooks that latch, and I mean, they're not pretty, but they keep the doors closed. So in these 2 drawers, I do have them locked with just the little hooks there. In the top, I keep all my toiletries, makeup, vitamins, contacts, anything I would need just to get ready during the day. And then the bottom is pretty big, but that is where I keep my dirty laundry. So this area of the van was really inconvenient and ugly and wasted space, and having big dogs, they also require a lot of things, and I wanted to make sure I had enough storage, so I was looking for space anywhere. I decided to make this little spice rack, which I know you probably can't see, but in the back I used scrap wood from the ceiling. This is half of my electrical panel setup. That's the controller to my Chinese diesel heater, just a cigarette lighter, 12-volt plug. I read a lot that it's better to do that than the USBs just with technology changing. So regular household outlet, and then this controls the lights. I have 2 lights over my bed, and then this is for my water pump. My electrical system, I have 400 watts of solar. I went with a company called New Power. And then my batteries, I went through Renogy. I have 2 100 amp hour lithium batteries. So my solar charges them, but I also have a DC to DC charger connected to my alternator. But that really keeps me going most of the time. I mean, the solar when it's sunny, but I feel like right now I'm doing a lot of driving, and my batteries will last me, if I'm not being super careful, probably 3 days if I have no solar and I'm not going anywhere. And then on this side, I use this a lot more. The top is my battery monitor, and then my inverter switch. These are the USBs that I usually use for charging my phone and my Garmin sometimes. There's another cigarette lighter there, and of course it just turns on. Some more household outlets, and then these, I've got my light system. There's 4 in the middle, and then 2 under my cabinets. This one, these are like my mini cabinets, I call them, but I think this might be my favorite part of the van just because I feel like it was such a good use of wasted space. This has kind of become my medicine cabinet, so everything, Band-Aids, ibuprofen, cold medicine, whatever. And then that one has stuff for the dogs. So this is usually where I'm cooking in the kitchen. I do have a pretty deep sink. I think it's like 8 inches, and I did undermount, so that added a little bit more. I have a sink cover that apparently I didn't seal very well because it has since expanded, so it doesn't fit flush anymore, so I just kind of pop it on there. It's nice to cover dirty dishes or smells. I do plan to sand it down again eventually, but I haven't been back home. So I cook with a camp stove, so I just flip my countertop up and it sits right here really nicely. Turn my fan on or crack the door, sometimes both. So under my sink, I have 2 7-gallon freshwater tanks and a 6-gallon gray water tank, and it actually works really nice. I hear about people overflowing their gray water a lot, but I've actually never done that because, so my fresh are 7, the gray is 6, and every time I flip to a new fresh water, I just know that it's time to dump the gray water because there's a little bit less in there, and I figure the amount that I drink, it's never even come close to overflowing. So. My late 20s, I kind of struggled with the fact that all my friends were getting married and having babies and nobody really wanted to hang out with me anymore. And I forced myself to start traveling solo, and it just kind of spiraled into bigger trips. And the summer of 2021, I kind of discovered car camping, and I used to drive a RAV4, so I built out a platform and took both of my huge dogs with me. And we went all over the country, all the way from Kentucky to Oregon and Montana and everything in between. We were gone for about 3 weeks. And I actually remember on that trip looking at vans and thinking, I couldn't do it. I couldn't live in a van. And then I got home and, you know, getting ready for the school year to start again. I was driving to work. It was late July, and I thought, wow, I'm not going to be able to go on a trip like that again for another year. And it was just that moment kind of clicked inside of me that I didn't like the life I had anymore, and I wanted a different one. So from that point on, I started researching, figuring out what I was going to be able to afford and what was available. That was a big problem. And how I was going to do it, there's no way. I thought I'd be able to build it myself, but I watched so many YouTube videos and read so many articles, and I just figured it out. It took me about 6 months to build it out. That I've heard people say that was fast. It felt like an eternity to me, but it helped that, you know, being in education, I started in February, and then our school year ends in mid-May. So I had the entire summer to just power through. Now, granted, it was the hottest summer we'd had in years, and I thought I was gonna die most days, but I got it done. I have a full-size bed in here. You probably can't tell, but there is a window behind the massive pile of pillows. But I did a bump out on that side, and it was one of the harder things in the van. The 136 wheelbase has these weird curved edges right here that the bigger ones don't. So figuring out how I was gonna box that out, it doesn't look very good, but it got done. I still had to take about 1 inch off the mattress, but both of my dogs sleep in the bed with me, and we actually fit really well. So Penny sleeps at the foot of the bed, and then Charlie sleeps up here. These look like a lot of pillows, and they are, but really there's only 2 actual pillows on the bed. This one has sheets inside of it. This one I think is like my sweatshirts and like thicker sweaters. That one has jackets, and then both of these 2 have extra blankets inside of it. And one thing that I didn't realize, I thought I knew everything when I was building because I spent so much time researching, but there's like a 7-inch gap between the bed and the doors that things will fall down. So all those pillows at night, I tuck into that gap, and it almost extends my bed a little bit. Okay, so I put my clothes on these 2 upper cabinets. This one, I try to use the packing cubes, and it's great because they stay organized, but I hate having to unzip the cubes every time that I need something. But I usually keep like pajamas or clothes that I would wear, real clothes is what I call them if I'm going out somewhere. And then this one, if I can reach, I actually like that system better. When I was done building, I just had some random scrap pieces of wood that happened to fit in there, and I don't know, it's just, I can move it. It can be as wide as I want it to, but I keep like my pants, shirts, and long sleeve shirts over there. The stuff that I would just wear day to day in the van go in that one. For heating, I have a Chinese diesel heater. it gets really hot and it's good use of fuel. I so far have been in Michigan and I've been in Vermont and New Hampshire, and there's been a couple nights down in the 20s, and I try not to turn it on until I can't stand it anymore, and then it runs for maybe an hour and I'm hot. So the heater works really well. For insulation on the walls, I used mostly the pink XPS board. Some of it was R10, some of it was R5. It just kind of depended. Some places of the van were deeper and I could use deeper insulation. The ceiling, I used the polyiso, the silver kind of foam board. And then in the hard to reach places, I did use a little bit of Thinsulate. So honestly, I feel like I've been more impressed with how cool it stays. That was my main concern. I hate being hot. And especially having 2 dogs, I wanted to make sure that I could do everything in my power to keep the van cool. So it is a small van. I probably didn't need 2 fans, but I'm glad that I went with it. I really don't have a lot of regrets about my build. I love the freedom. I love the ability to go wherever I want to go, be where I want to be, when I want to be there. I like the fact that I could just pull over on the side of the road and take a nap when I'm tired. So, I mean, I have my home with me everywhere I go. So my home can be wherever I decide for it to be. There's pros and cons to both building your own and buying one that's already built. Obviously, I mean, it was a headache. People talk about how great of an experience it was. I'm not gonna lie, it sucked. It was horrible. It was so hot, I was so sweaty, but I know how to fix everything in my van. So if something breaks, I don't have to panic. If something's wrong with my electrical system, I'm gonna be able to figure it out, whether it's a bad crimp or a loose connection or, you know, things I didn't even know what those meant when I started this. But I don't know. I mean, do I regret building my own van? Absolutely not. I'm so glad I did. But if you have the money to buy one that's already built, do it. So my garage space, I tried to make it as organized as possible. My mom had these kind of shoe racks that she wasn't using, and I cut them apart. 3 pairs of shoes right there, some bathing suits, stuff that I like, my hammock, things that I might grab quickly. And then I've got these 2 drawers. I would say pretty much this whole one is full of dog stuff, a lot of dog bandanas, tie-outs for if we're at a campsite. Behind that, I have a big tub of more clothes that I'm never gonna use. And on top of that one, I have like cast iron skillets and some other kitchen stuff that I would very rarely use, but I wanted to have the option. Over here, I have my stand-up paddleboard, my hiking backpack, and my toolbox is back there too. On the bottom, I have my dog food storage. I think it holds like 30 pounds. And then behind that, I have 2 more of my water jugs. So total for my water system, I have 28 gallons of fresh water. Well, 29 because I have 1 emergency over there, but I don't plan to ever use it. So I do have Go Treads that I have never opened. They're still in the box. Hopefully I never have to use them. I've got my ladder. Electrical system is back there. And this is a new addition. I'm not sure how it's gonna work, but it's a water bowl. I'm trying to just put water in it at night because I don't want it to spill while I drive. But all I did was, this would go like in a dog's crate, and it has some screws on the back, and then just put the cover back up, and it's a nice little spot for him to get a drink and not have to worry about stepping on her at night. I did get the Wii Boost, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out how I was gonna mount it, and I ended up going to Lowe's and just showing them what I needed, and they helped me piece together some plumbing adapters, and it is connected to, I think it's actually like a boat antenna mount, and I can lift it up and down. So I just drive with it down because I don't really need it. And then when I get to a campsite or if I need it on somewhere, I'll just flip it up. I'm still undecided on if I think it works or not. So sometimes it seems like it does, and other times I feel like it was a waste of money, so I don't know. So So if you're looking into getting into van life, I would say do your research. There's so many articles out there about what to expect, life on the road. Start in your car, start with a weekend trip close to your hometown, and then branch out. And if you really want to get into the van, honestly, just do it. Download apps. If you're trying to do your build, I would say I could not have built this van without Linnea and Akila's channel. I watched it religiously. Very helpful. There's other ones out there that are really helpful too. So I learned so much from that. I mean, even something as small as making sure my cabinets don't block my lights when they open. I never would have thought of that, but I've watched so many videos and I would encourage everybody to do the same. Well, thank you for watching my van tour and getting to meet me and my dogs. If you want to follow us, we're on TikTok and Instagram at girl and 2 van dogs with the number 2.